Hey guys, I got kind of a Christmas story for you. It's kind of a sequel, if you will. Last night, the kids and I and Dana, we cuddled up on the couch and watched Christmas Chronicles 2. I'm a fan of sequels because I want to know, well, what happened next? What's the rest of the story? How did this turn out? So you may remember, as you hear the Christmas stories, one of the darker Christmas stories, if you will, is whenever Jesus was born, and the three wise men came to visit Jesus, and King Herod, known as Herod the Great, tried to trick the wise men into telling him where Jesus was at because he wanted to go kill him, because King Herod thought there only needs to be one king, and that's me. Anybody else claiming rights to a throne, a king of the Jews, if you will, we can't have that. Well, wise men were wise to this, and they left. They went back home without ever going back to consult Herod. So King Herod ordered all of the baby boys 2 years or younger in and around Bethlehem to be killed. He was so prideful. He would do whatever it took to take care of Herod, because Herod had set himself up as the king. Herod was looking after Herod. He was king. No one else could be king. And if he had to kill many, many, many babies to protect his throne, he would. And that's what he did. Now, he was not successful in killing Jesus as a baby because Joseph and Mary became refugees. They fled out of there before they came to kill the babies. They didn't get to Jesus. And they fled to Egypt, were refugees there for a while before eventually returning back to Israel. So, what else is going on with that story? How did that turn out? Well, Herod the Great eventually dies, and he has a son, Herod Antipas, is what we refer to him as. He did not rule over everything that Herod the Great ruled over. He ruled over probably a quarter of Herod the Great's kingdom. So that's where we come to the story today. As you probably also remember from the Christmas story, there would be a prophet come before Jesus to announce his coming. And he was John the Baptist. And John and Herod Antipas came into contact with each other. I'm going to be in Mark 6 as we continue to read through the book of Mark. We're Mark 6, verse 14. And we're going to read a little bit today, guys, okay? There's a lot going on here. Herod Antipas, the king, soon heard about Jesus because everyone was talking about him. Some were saying, "This must be John the Baptist raised from the dead. That is why he can do such miracles." Others said, "He's the prophet Elijah." Still others said, "He's a prophet like the other great prophets of the past." When Herod heard about Jesus, he said, "John, the man I beheaded, has come back from the dead." Dude was straight up paranoid. I mean, sometimes narcissist, which he was, can be very paranoid. So we're going to get to, why John was beheaded here very, very quickly. But this cat believes that John the Baptist, who he had beheaded, has come back to life. That's who he thinks Jesus is. He's coming to get him. For Herod had sent soldiers to arrest and imprison John as a favor to Herodias. She had been his brother Philip's wife. Getting a little weird. But Herod had married her. So Herodias and Herod wanted to get hitched, but she was already married to Herod's brother. So whatever, he's going to do it anyhow. Because, he's Herod, he's king, he'll do what he wants to do. This is how this dude thinks. He's a narcissist, very prideful. John had been telling Herod, "It is against God's law for you to marry your brother's wife." So John is a prophet. He's saying, hey, dude, that's not cool. He's telling that to Herod. Word gets back to Herodias about that. So Herodias bore a grudge against John and wanted to kill him. But without Herod's approval, she was powerless. For Herod respected John, and knowing that he was a good and holy man, he protected him. Herod was greatly disturbed when he talked with John, but even so, he liked and listened to him. So Herodias is ticked off. Like, hey, this John dude is saying that our relationship's not a good thing. Let's knock him off. And Herod's like, there's what he says bothers me. It disturbs me. But at the same time, I think he's a good man. He seems to be a man of God, and he actually liked to listen to him. Herodias' chance finally came on Herod's birthday. So they're having a big party. He gave a party for his high government officials, army officers, and the leading citizens of Galilee. So the who's who of that area. The important people are there. They're having a good party. Then his daughter, also named Herodias, came in and performed a dance that greatly pleased Herod and his guests. "Ask me for anything you like," the king said to the girl, "and I will give it to you." He even vowed, "I will give you whatever you ask, up to half my kingdom." Like, do you hear the pride just oozing out of this dude? Like, I'm talking about unhealthy pride here. I'm so wealthy, my daughter can have whatever she wants. It's my birthday, I'll give her a gift. I'll give her even up to half of my kingdom. I've got so much, it wouldn't hurt me to get rid of all that. Whatever you want, girl, you ask for it. He's saying this in front of his guest with all this swagger and all this, can you just hear it? The pride, the arrogance, the narcissist. So the daughter has a gift to pick. I mean, could you imagine your father being Herod and he's saying, "I'll give you what you want, girl, up to half the kingdom"? Well, you better think about this. You better, you've got an opportunity to get a little nice gift here, so let's put some thought into it. She didn't even, so she went to her mother like, "Hey, Mom, what do you think about this?" She went out and asked her mother, "What should I ask for?" Her mother told her, "Ask for the head of John the Baptist." I mean, it's an odd gift request, for a daughter to ask of her father, ask for some dude's head. As you're thinking about, what your kids may be wanting for Christmas and what they're into right now, you might have, asked some questions, trying to gather ideas for good gifts, or other folks. Like, "Hey, honey, what do you think about this?" Whatever, just to get their reaction, see if they're interested in it. Could you imagine your child saying, "I want the head of a prophet. Bring it to me"? That's what's happening here. So the girl hurried back to the king and told him, "I want the head of John the Baptist right now on a tray." Mama's going to get her wish. Dad messed up. Mom's going to get her wish. She wanted John the Baptist knocked off, and here is her opportunity. Now, I would imagine that if I'm Herod, I have the opportunity here to be like, "Look, I know what I said, but I'm not going to be killing prophets. Like, if you want, some jewelry, a palace, whatever, honey, we can do that. But that guy I've been protecting, like listening to him, I think he's a good man, a godly man. We're not knocking him off. I'm Herod. I don't think I'm out of line to say that's not on the table. So I'm backing off of that." But the boy wouldn't say that. He had already made that vow in front of all those people. And he didn't want to have it look bad upon him now. So what's he do? I want the head of John the Baptist right now on a tray. Then the king deeply regretted what he had said, but because of the vows he made in front of his guests. Because of the vows he made in front of his guests. Because I think it's because he did this in front of his guests that he's not backing down, or that he's not backing out of this. He didn't want to lose face. He couldn't refuse her. So he immediately sent an executioner to the prison to cut off John's head and bring it to him. The soldier beheaded John in prison, brought his head on a tray, and gave it to the girl, who took it to her mother. When John's disciples heard what had happened, they came to get his body and buried it in a tomb. How dark is this? First of all, Dad, Herod the Great, he tried to knock off Jesus when he was a baby. Killed lots and lots of babies, tried to do so. He don't care. It's all about Herod. Unsuccessful. He has a son. He shows great pride. The very prophet that came to announce the arrival of Jesus comes along. And you can see how sin sometimes begets sin. One sin leads to the next. One bad decision leads to another bad decision to cover that one up, and then you have another bad decision to cover that up, and it just snowballs from there. Herodias wanted him dead. Herod Antipas told his daughter, whatever you want, babe, I'll get it for you. And when she asked for John the Baptist's head, instead of being like, hey, I'm backing off of that a little bit. I didn't know we were going there. I thought you were going to ask for a palace or a new, carriage or what, jewels. So I'm back, because of his pride. And he didn't want to lose face in front of the citizens, the important people. He went through with it. The very guy who came to announce the arrival of Jesus, he had knocked off. And then after he had him knocked off, we see Jesus' ministry building. We hear word about Jesus and his miraculous works happening. And this paranoid guy begins to think that John the Baptist has come back to life to get him. That's who Jesus is, So he's this paranoid, narcissistic nut. This is the same Herod Antipas that we see near Jesus' execution, that they were sending Pilate and Herod Antipas were sending Jesus back and forth like a rag doll. Same dude. Completely prideful, completely narcissistic. He is king, and he wants everybody to know it. It's not a very warm and fuzzy intro into Christmas season message, I know, but let's talk about this. I'm not here to accuse you of the atrocities that Herod the Great or Herod Antipas committed. Let's make that clear. At the same time, sometimes we want to be kings of our own lives, don't we? Jesus has his place, but his place is not on the throne of our lives, really, is it? He needs to stay in his lane. Where are you prideful right now? Often in our culture, we use pride as a good term, and I understand what you mean. Hey, my child did well in school. I'm proud of them. That kind of pride. My grandfather was a good man. I'm proud of him. I hear what you mean. But we're using the word pride here. It's look what I've done. Look who I am. It's an acknowledgement that you are the king of your life and not Christ. As we enter into this Christmas season, and people are thinking about what they want and what they deserve and what they need to get, I encourage you to search your heart and ask where you're being prideful in your life. Perhaps God's calling you to something and you're saying no. So if he's king of your life and he's calling you to something, you follow your king. So if you're saying no, it's being prideful. Maybe it's how you spend your money. Not that long ago, a few years ago, when we were on vacation, Dana and I rented a convertible Mustang and drove through wine country in California. That was awesome. And I always said, whenever I retire one day, we're buying a cherry red convertible Mustang. Can't wait when we retire one day. This past year, a friend was selling a cherry red convertible Mustang. And I said to myself, you know what? Let's do this. Why wait for retirement? Why? And there's nothing wrong with buying cherry red convertible Mustangs. However, for me personally in my life at that time, that would have been a sin because God was calling me to do other things with my finances. And there's things that we could not have done that I think that has been kingdom impacted. Things that benefited the kingdom should we have made that decision. Because it's not about Josh. It's not about me. Where in your life are you seeing pride? Where in your life have you been wronged and you want revenge and you just need to let it go? And man, that hurts. I want to lash back out and tell them where you just need to stand down. And because it's not about you. It's not important that you get the glory. It should be important in our life that Jesus gets the glory. This week, search your heart, search your mind, and ask yourself where you're sitting on the throne at in your life. And what thrones in your life do you need to get up out of and let the King of Kings, Jesus, sit in that throne and lead your life. Guys, I love you. God bless you. See you later. Hey, my people, what's going on? I miss seeing y'all this Sunday. Hey, hope y'all ate a lot of pecan pie or pumpkin pie or whatever kind of pie you eat on Thanksgiving. I'm excited as we are beginning to enter into the Christmas season. The church should have fun at Christmas. The church should celebrate the birth of our Savior. And wherever we meet or however we meet, we will do that at Branchville United Methodist Church. Hey guys, one thing for you to know. This coming Sunday, December 6th, we will not be meeting in person for worship. What happens after that, we don't quite know yet. The safety team continues to stay in touch and monitor the pandemic situation. But we will not be meeting December 6th. What does that mean for the Ugly Christmas Sweater competition? Ugly Christmas Sweater Sunday? I don't exactly know. It's definitely not going to be December 6th. I don't know if we'll be able to have it later on or not, or do something creative. We'll figure it out. Miss seeing you guys. God bless you. God love you. I hope you enjoyed the sermon about Herod and pride. Merry Christmas.